Now there is a 13mm headed bolt right here that secures the alternator bracket to the cylinder head, and we need to remove that now. Okay, now we can take the valve cover off. I've loosened all the three 10mm head bolts that hold the valve cover down. Now I'm going to take a plastic hammer here and tap underneath the cover, loosen it up, and there's the cover. Now to take the cylinder head off, we have 10 bolts that secure it down there, 13mm. Make sure you use a good impact socket on this with a breaker bar. And what we're going to do is we're going to move it 1/4 of a turn. And we're going to start with this one right here, which is number 10. And then of course, over here is number 9. So we'll go 1/4 of a turn on this one. Now keep doing that. And what you'll need is a diagram so you can get it right. What you're doing is you're working on the edges towards the middle. Now keep turning the bolts out 1/4 of a turn till you get all the bolts out. Okay, we get our head bolts out and we're ready to pull the head. Okay, here we go. Okay, now that we've got the head off, we can see what the problem was. And it wasn't a blown head gasket, it was a cracked head. If you look closely here on number 2 combustion chamber, you can see the crack. Let me zoom in a little closer so you can see it better. There's the crack right there. And if we pan over to number 3, you can see a crack right there also. So, this head is junk. So we're going to have to find a new one for this car. Okay, here's our new cylinder head, all ready to go on. Now, what we did is we bought a headset with our new head gasket, and you want to get a head gasket with brand new head bolts also. And you want to clean out the threads in the block for the head bolts, and we've got our locating pins in the block to hold the gasket in place. So we're ready to put it together. Okay, I'll lower this thing down. And of course we have to check for clearance. Now if you happen to have a couple of people around, you can just grab it and throw it in. But I'm by myself here, so the winch works pretty good. Okay, get that heater hose in the correct way. This bracket goes over the line for the starter. Okay, keep, excuse me, you keep checking as you go down. Okay, we're looking good. Okay, the oil dipstick tube bracket is out of position. Alright, we're within about 3/4 of an inch. Okay, we have made contact. The cylinder head has landed. Okay, let's go one more click down. I felt it land on the locating pins. There it is. So the head is on the block. Okay, next you want to take your head bolts and put a little oil on the threads and install the head bolts in the cylinder head. Now the first step of tightening the head down is set your torque wrench at 44 foot-pounds and go through the cycle of tightening the bolts. We only want to go 44 foot-pounds. Now do that and tighten all the bolts to 44. Okay, now that we've got the head bolts torqued to 44 pounds, we want to loosen them all around roughly about 2 turns and then tighten them back to 44. Now start with number 10 right here and loosen it about 1/4 of a turn at a time. And go all through that, loosen them back off and retighten them to 44. Next we want to, in sequence, turn the head bolts 1/4 of a turn, 90 degrees. Now do that to all 10 head bolts in sequence. Now you want to do it one more time. That's 1/4 turn, 90 degrees. And do all 10 bolts in sequence. And then after that, the cylinder head's all tightened. Okay, we're making some progress here. We've got the cylinder head all torqued down. Now it's just a matter of putting all the other parts back on. I think what I'll do is do a separate video on the timing belt, so you can look for that. One other thing that I did that will help to put everything back, as I took the parts off, I made a list as I went along. So now all I have to do is go backwards and everything will go back into order, and we won't have anything out of order where you put something on and you say, geez, I have to take that off because such and such a part had to go on first. So that will help out. So that's it for replacing a cylinder head on your Ford 1.9 liter engine.